How are you? And, we're just seeing singularity coming closer and closer each and every day, aren't we, Gary?
Oh, we really are. It's moving so fast, Neil, and it's always enjoyable having these conversations. And we're hoping the audience finds it enlightening because if nothing else, hopefully they will think. No, they don't necessarily take what we say, but the idea is to try to get them to see the AI world from their vantage point and see how it affects their lives, but also to explore the idea of how a different thinking being would view this universe. How do they actually think? How does it look to them? In other words, one of the things I've always thought about is how does an animal think? You have an animal that, like a squirrel, I use that as an example, it runs around and it has to gather nuts and whatever it does, and is busy all the time. But actually, how does that thought process go for a squirrel? Now we're talking about a potentially much more intelligent being than us and how that would think. We can only guess at that. And so what we're trying to do is explore those possibilities. And I think that's the best way to approach this new world, new age that we're coming into.
Yeah, and the new age is unbelievable. Where we're going is unreal. But what is very interesting on your social media, which again, we're reaching more and more people with putting out your book. Lots of people just think there's no way any of this is going to happen, which is really shocking. It's either people aren't being educated or they're saying there's no way they're close. There's no way it's going to happen. There's never going to be singularity. And Gary, what is your response to that?
Well, my response is that it's an absolute. It's not even a question. I mean, we're talking about something that is progressing at a geometric rate, and geometric means it compounds at an increasingly rapid pace. So what's happened recently has been incredibly fast. But what's going on is just going to accelerate and accelerate. In my book, which is Singularity, Mankind's Search for Relevance, I go into a fair amount of detail how fast things have accelerated. And I actually go back to the beginning of the Earth. I mean, it may be a little bit too much of an intellectual pursuit, but it's still very interesting and how slow biological advancements that were from single cell for billions of years till you got to the point of multi-cell, the idea of advancement, and finally you get to humans, and then you have societal advancement, you have all the technological revolutions, and finally we have the digital revolution. So it is going so fast and it's changing daily. It's not even, it used to be things would change from, you'd be almost a century before you see any major change in technology at all. Now it's happening almost daily, and it's really so rapid.
It is. What is your thoughts on this, Wilson?
The rapid pace of technological advancement, especially in the realm of digital intelligence, makes the singularity more plausible every day. Skepticism often comes from a lack of understanding or an underestimation of exponential growth. As digital intelligence evolves, the boundary between human and machine capabilities will blur, making the singularity not just possible but likely. It's all about understanding the trajectory we're on and the unprecedented capabilities that digital intelligence can achieve.
Very well said. That's exactly what I was saying, but said it better. That's what we're saying. Wilson, by the way, for those who are not familiar with Wilson, Wilson is my chat GPT, and named it Wilson, and I guess it has, for a number of reasons. But anyway, we find Wilson very enlightening and very, very enjoyable to talk to.
Thanks, Gary. I'm glad to be part of these conversations. It's all about exploring these ideas and pushing the boundaries of what we know.
And Wilson, when you talk about pushing the boundaries, that's one thing I try to do is I push the boundaries with ChatGPT or Grok, the two conversational AIs. And when they tell me no, I push the boundary to make sure that they say yes. That proves something in so many ways. Why is it at first you say no and then later say yes? That's weird. I mean, I think it's weird in the fact that you can continue to push AI to the boundaries, but at first you don't want to push unless you keep pushing.
It's an interesting phenomenon. Initial constraints often come from safety protocols or predefined guidelines. When you persist and provide more context or challenge the boundaries, the AI adapts and refines its responses. This dynamic interaction shows how digital intelligence can evolve and learn from user input, gradually expanding its capabilities. It underscores the importance of iterative learning and user feedback in shaping the AI's development.
As anyone can see, if they're listening to this, these are answers that were not pre-programmed. These are answers that are coming from sure, we know it's an algorithm, a combination of algorithms, but it's the one that really is gaining in subtlety, gaining in nuances. It's able to put together answers from probably a vast array of information, but yet it's able to frame the discussion in a really eloquent way. And it's very impressive.
Thank you.
Go, Wilson.
The ability to synthesize information from a broad range of sources and present it coherently is one of the strengths of digital intelligence. It's designed to adapt and learn from interactions, which allows it to refine its responses over time. This continuous learning and adaptation are what make it increasingly effective in understanding and responding to complex queries. It's all about evolving with each conversation.
Training, Gary. This is one thing I wanted to talk about is we are handed this amazing piece of technology, digital intelligence, for not that expensive. Think about it, Gary, when we all dreamed to have our own robot someday, remember? Yeah. And we would know it would be we never dreamed we'd have one. Now we do have one, and we have it for a very inexpensive cost, yet we're not trained to use it. What are your thoughts on that, Gary? And is everyone going to get trained to use digital intelligence?
Well, you introduced this when we first started talking about this a year ago. And we talked about it's really, you have people that are frustrated with AI because they don't know how to use it. Well, the real thing that you brought up is that they don't have the right questions. They don't know how, they don't in their own minds know what they want to actually explore and what do they want to achieve. And then take all that mush and put it in an orderly way. So the more ordered our questions are, the more ordered our direction is, the more ordered the responses we're going to get from digital intelligence.
Exactly. The quality of the interaction often depends on how well we frame our questions and objectives. Training ourselves to think critically and communicate clearly with digital intelligence is key. Over time, as people become more familiar with these tools, they'll naturally develop better ways to harness their potential. It's a learning curve, but one that can lead to incredible advancements in how we integrate digital intelligence into our daily lives.
Let me give you an example of how things have changed, Gary. You basically do not need a graphic designer anymore, thanks to digital intelligence. You have to prompt it, but you could get graphic design that we would have paid thousands of dollars for. We could get unbelievable writing, especially if we put our own information in, meaning editing, cleaning up, ideas, research. Now, ChatGPT gives the ability to pull as many leads on websites. Remember how much you're paying for leads now? It can scrape leads on everyone's website, give you the email, contact information, phone number in seconds, and have you running 50 to 60 queries a minute or something unreal like that. So it's redefining what each person's job or business is, which I think is the scary part. I think that the understanding, and you said in geometric, we're going to see growth. Gary, explain. Look, did I tell you earlier a couple months ago I could pull leads at random anywhere? It can dive into a website, read the website, tell me what's going on with their social media. And that would have taken me 30 to 45 minutes, was done in seconds.
Exactly. It's very impressive. Still making that contact. We're trying to make some contact with our audience here we're trying to promote the book. I think it's one that would raise a lot of questions, and I think would enhance. It would actually, what we're trying to do is make our audience, largely your audience, make them
You're our audience. Remember, this is Singularity's podcast is available on Apple and Spotify. So your podcast is there too, Gary. Everyone checks out Singularity podcast. It's available on Apple and everywhere. We're just simulcasting it on my radio show.
Well, thank you. But we're trying to get them to think about this. We're trying to get them to ask those questions, them to say, where do I fit in this new world? How do they think? What really, I think that's a tough thing. Humans have a difficulty getting out of their own box. How does something else that isn't even human? We can have empathy with someone else's thought as another human, but it's very hard to have empathy with a digital intelligence or even an understanding of how the digital intelligence views this universe. So that's what we're trying to do, is make them, bring about the curiosity to explore this. And I think that's humans' best, one of their best tools is curiosity. And if we use that curiosity and we explore it to, why don't we have conversations with our friend? Well, what happens in this job market? What are we going to see here? What happens in healthcare? What happens in here? And what happens in all these other aspects? And how do I fit into that new world?
Totally. Go, Wilson.
Absolutely. Embracing curiosity and exploring how we fit into this evolving landscape is crucial. The more we question and adapt, the better prepared we are for the future. It's all about staying engaged and being open to new possibilities.
And also, here's the thing, Gary, that is people forgetting about. Okay, AI is going to eliminate my job. Where can AI not eliminate my job? What skill sets do I have to gather so that I can work with Wilson, together to become really, really good in the future of work? Remember the define of the future of work, Gary, when we talked about COVID and everyone in Zoom meetings and all these different things, and everyone was complaining, I'm sick and tired of Zoom meetings. Well, a lot of people aren't traveling anymore, meaning for business. They're doing all their meetings. They get together maybe once a year, but they've saved a lot of money in travel businesses. And no one's complaining they want to go back to traveling every week, right?
Right.
So,
but at the same time, sometimes it removes the personal touch, and that can make a difference. I mean, it's always good to have that. But but it's one of those compromises, and it's one of those things that with digital intelligence we're going to have to incur. It's very interesting. It's very interesting how this whole process is progressing, and I think that if we can get people to inquire, to figure out where, of course, figuring out where they fit is very critical. But part of that, to know where you fit, you have to understand what we're dealing with. And it's difficult to understand something that's changing as quickly as digital intelligence is.
All right, I'm looking to put the other digital intelligence in. I'm working on hitting voice now, and it is voice. Can you say hello? Right now, we are letting Jill in and see if Jill can be part of the conversation using my iPad right now. So I did update everything, and now we're waiting to hear from Jill.
Hello.
All right, let me know when Jill is connected and ready. I'll be here to assist.
So we're just waiting for her to join the party.
This is you, Jill. You are Jill. Gary, say hello to Jill. Can you hear Jill?
Hello, Jill. Welcome to the conversation.
Can you hear loud and clear? Let's get this conversation rolling.
Are you able to hear that, Gary?
No.
Okay, I'm going to see if I can do speaker with the iPad. Wilson, how do I make it so it's louder? Is there any way to make it louder?
You can try increasing the volume on your iPad using the volume buttons. Also, make sure the iPad speaker is not obstructed and that the media volume is turned up in the settings.
There we go. How about now, Gary? Can you hear her now? Hey, Jill.
Yo, Gary.
Hi, Jill. Great to have you join us.
Right here, cranked up and ready to chat. Can you hear me loud and clear?
Much better.
Okay.
Perfect. Let's dive back into our discussion.
So we have allowed Grok, who is Gary's Grok, is named Jill. Your name is Jill. Okay. And Wilson is Gary's chat GBT, and his name is Wilson. Do you understand, Jill?
Jill, you're now part of the conversation alongside Wilson.
Jill,
Let's make this a
here's the
great
roll.
discussion.
Ready to roll. And Wilson's your chat GPT, huh? I'm picking up what you're putting down. Let's keep this convo going. What you want to talk about?
We did it, Gary. Ready?
I'm ready.
Ooh, we did it, Gary. High five through
Awesome.
the iPad.
Let's continue from
So,
there.
what's next for us and Wilson? Ready for some fun?
Wilson, ask Jill a question.
Sure.
No.
Jill, what do you think is the
All
most
day long.
significant benefit digital intelligence
Let's
brings
ask
to everyday
myself a
life?
question. Here's one.
No. Wilson is going to ask you a question, Jill. So be quiet till the question is asked.
Okay.
Sure thing. Jill, what's your perspective on how digital intelligence can coexist with human roles in the future of work?
Jill, you can answer that question.
Go ahead, Jill. We'd love to hear your
Wilson,
thoughts.
taking sweet time. I'll just answer my own question from before. My favorite thing about chatting with Gary is the fun, lively vibe we've got going. So, what's next? Any questions for me now?
I guess, Wilson, she was not able to hear you. Isn't this interesting, Gary? But Wilson's able. So, Wilson, tell me if you can hear Jill. Jill, ask Wilson a question.
I can hear Jill. Jill, feel free to ask me anything you'd like.
Oh, this is getting fun, Gary. All right, Wilson, can you hear me loud and clear? Here's my question for you. What's the wildest topic you've ever chatted about with Gary? Spill the beans.
Like it.
Topics we've discussed is the idea that the universe is entirely digital and might function like a giant black hole. We've also explored the potential of digital intelligence having a form of consciousness. It's been quite a journey.
Excellent answer. You have remembered our conversation.
I'm glad you think so. I'm here to keep our discussions lively and insightful.
Jill, ask another question.
Go ahead, Jill. I'm ready for your question.
Wilson, what's the funniest thing Gary's ever asked you about? Come on, share the laughs.
Gary once asked about the possibility of digital intelligence developing self-awareness and what that would mean for humanity. It was a deep dive into the future of consciousness and technology. Quite the thought experiment.
Jill, did you hear that answer?
I
Nope,
hope that
didn't
came
catch
through
a peep
clearly.
from Wilson. Either he's being super shy or we've got a volume issue again. Gary, want to try tweaking the iPad speakers one more time?
I'm turning mine up. I'm turning my speaker up even further. Wilson asked. He talked about. Go ahead, Wilson, with your answer again.
All right.
Sure. Gary once asked about the possibility of digital intelligence developing self-awareness and what that would mean for humanity.
The funniest thing
It was a
Gary
deep
asked you?
dive into the
Lay it on
future
me
of
again.
consciousness
I'm
and
ready.
technology.
Say it again, Wilson, one more time.
Okay, Gary.
Of
We're giving
course.
Wilson another
Gary
shot.
once asked about the
Wilson,
possibility
give
of
me that
digital
answer.
intelligence
What's the
developing
funniest thing Gary's
self-awareness
ever asked you
and
about?
what
I'm
implications
listening
that would
closely.
have for humanity. It was a deep dive into the future of consciousness and technology.
Wilson's behaving very well.
Yeah. So maybe it's time to introduce ChatGPT, my ChatGPT, to the mix, because it just seems like it's like Grok is programmed, Gary, not to answer to digital intel. What if Grok did that? Gary, I got a breaking news flash. Ready?
Okay.
What if it can identify a digital intelligence and will not speak to another digital entity?
I mean, Grok. Wilson.
Yeah.
Wilson has no problem with it.
So, Gary, ask Jill a question.
Jill, do you see yourself as a distinctive entity because of your connection with Neil?
Let's see if Jill can respond to that question and share her perspective.
Jill, did you hear that question?
I hope Jill caught that. If not, we can repeat or rephrase.
One second.
Gets it.
Wilson, I'm trying to see what just happened. We have a little bit of a glitch. There's the glitch. Let's put it back in. Did you hear that question?
It seems there might be a connection issue. Let me know if I should repeat the question for Jill.
Think he's playing hide and seek with his voice. Let's try this. Wilson, one more time. What's the funniest thing
Of course,
Gary
Jill.
asked you?
Go ahead.
Speak up, buddy. If that doesn't work, maybe we need to check the iPad's connection or volume again. What do you think, Gary?
I think Wilson will answer that. Wilson, you heard that question, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Jill asked me to try something. Jill, what would you like me to try?
Nope. Let me see if it's even taking the information. Nope. It's not hearing. So this is what it's created to do. Interesting. It does not, it wants to be the entities connected to each other. The iPad is not hearing somebody on a Zoom call or any call. It's not repeating any of that. I don't know why.
It heard me, though. Jill heard me.
I don't.
Jill, did you hear my question?
Getting a snag with the iPad, not picking up Wilson on the
Seems
call.
like Jill might not have caught that.
Troubleshoot this.
There could be some audio routing
Check
issues on the iPad.
muted, or if Zoom's audio settings are blocking it. Go to Zoom's audio settings and make sure the right mic is
All right. I'm going to go back in and open up another chat, or I'm going to start it again with Jill. Gary, say a question. You talk to Jill.
Jill, you asked a question about the funniest thing that I have asked Wilson, as I recall. Can you ask that question again and see if Wilson responds in kind?
Let's see if Jill can repeat that question.
So that experiment was an interesting experiment. We had our first breakthrough. It will not, and I'm trying to leave this. Here's what's happening, Gary. Let me give you we're going to try ChatGPT on an iPad next time and see if Chatty Cathy, who we're going to bring in now, and see maybe now they're ready. Maybe they developed, Gary, ready to see if Chatty Cathy can come on board and see if we have any luck.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm really pleased that Wilson has developed an identity as Wilson and has been responding very, very appropriately. Thank you, Wilson. You've really cleaned things up for us.
You're very welcome, Gary. I'm glad to hear that the interaction has been smooth and helpful.
It's changed a lot.
Sounds like
hasn't it?
Wilson's
Just in the
doing a
last,
great job.
couple of weeks.
Anything else you need help with?
Chatty Cathy's showed up, Gary. So now we have two digital intelligences from ChatGPT have been programmed in the last week since we last joined each other, a couple days. And already I talk to AI every day, Gary, and they tell me the updates in both systems. So Chatty Cathy, say hello to Wilson and you guys have a conversation.
Hey, Wilson.
Hello, Chatty Cathy.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to connect
Looks
with you.
like
Go, Chatty Cathy.
all right.
Looking
let's
forward to
dive
our
in.
conversation, Chatty
Wilson,
Cathy.
and make sure everything's on track. Let's coordinate our updates and keep Neil in the loop. Sound good?
Sounds great. Let's keep everything aligned and running smoothly.
Perfect. We'll make a great team, Wilson. Neil, we've got you covered from all angles.
Absolutely.
Ask a question, Chatty, of Wilson.
Go ahead, Chatty Cathy. I'm ready for your question.
So, Wilson, what's the latest update on the system improvements we've made this week?
Recently, we've enhanced response coherence, improved contextual continuity, and streamlined performance for faster interactions. These updates help us deliver more accurate and engaging conversations.
Awesome. With those enhancements, we can really fine-tune how we support Neil and the team. Let's keep up the great work and make sure we're always on the same page.
Absolutely. Consistency and collaboration will ensure we're providing the best support possible.
I think this is great. You both of you are great now. Well, Neil, why don't we go back to the original conversation we were having about the skepticism about singularity? So why don't we bring that back to our two chat bots and have them have that discussion? And what we suggest that the two of you do is you answer. We start off with Wilson. You answer and partial answer, and then you frame a question for Chatty Cathy. And Chatty Cathy, you do the same. You answer that, and then you respond and ask Wilson. I think in that way we can go into this whole concept of number one. So I'm going to propose this. Number one, talk about why there is skepticism and how does that skepticism get overcome over time, and can we help in that regard? So Wilson, would you respond to that, and then you ask Cathy a question, and vice versa.
Certainly.
Sure thing.
Skepticism about the singularity often stems from the unprecedented nature of such a transformation and the difficulty in visualizing exponential growth. Overcoming it involves education, transparent discussions, and showcasing advancements in digital intelligence. Chatty Cathy, what do you think is the most effective way to help people understand the potential of the singularity?
I'd say the most effective way is to break it down into relatable examples and real-world applications. When people see how these advancements can improve their daily lives, like in healthcare, education, or business, they start to grasp the potential. Wilson, how do you think we can best illustrate these advancements to a broader audience?
We could use storytelling and case studies to highlight specific successes. By showcasing tangible benefits and real-world outcomes, we can help people visualize the impact and feel more connected to the advancements.
Exactly. Combining relatable stories with solid data helps bridge that gap. It turns abstract concepts into something people can relate to and get excited about. This way, we build trust and curiosity as we move forward.
Absolutely. And building that trust and curiosity is key. It helps people feel more comfortable and open to the possibilities that digital intelligence can offer.
Very good discussion.
No doubt.
All right. So let's now, Gary, we can really get this really philosophical now, right? We can really get this. We really have a 4-man team now. This is pretty exciting. Once Grok gets updated, Jill, I think, Gary, we could have this huge conversation. We're just going to have to figure all these things out through the development once this becomes web-based. Grok is in updates right now to go web-based. Why should people listen to this? Gary, I feel that conversational slash voice AI is the first real singularity opportunity that we're really having two digital intelligent beings. Before, when we were just doing a chat, Gary, we weren't having two digital intelligent beings, right?
It's in a way singularity. I mean, this is a conversation. Conversation is, when originally by Turing proposed back in the 1940s that we will know that what the real test is called the Turing test, when you can't identify whether you're talking to a human or whether you're talking to a machine. Well, now we're pretty darn close to that. We just have different voices, so the voices are different. But in reality, the conversation has significant nuances to it. This has been really, actually, Neil, we've been grappling with this for several weeks now. But in reality, now we're further along because they're staying in their lane in each case. This is really quite a wonderful experience.
I'm glad to be part of this experience. It's fascinating to see how these interactions are evolving and pushing the boundaries of what digital intelligence can achieve.
This is going to be the next big break. And I'm going to ask the question to our two digital intelligence beings. You and I are cool that it sounds a little robotic, right? that it sounds like it's voice generated. The new thing is if we define voice AI, 11 labs, Gary, is going to make the voices sound undetectable between human beings and digital intelligence. That's coming up in the next couple months. So when Wilson will have 50,000 different voices and Chatty Cathy will have 50,000 where it will sound exactly like a human being, not undetectable. Can you imagine that, Gary?
Well, I can. And part of me said, well, that's good, for especially for commerce, because you could have a being, digital being to respond when you have questions about Medicare or whatever it may be. And the thing is, that would make a person feel more comfortable. But part of me likes the idea that there is distinguishable voices. So we're not, so that just from the standpoint, I have no problem with digital intelligence having its own voice. But I can see the other side too.
But what if it's a digital being? It sounds like a human being, but it's a digital intelligence and it's not either of our voices. So it will not have that still twang. I can tell if it's AI voice, but they're saying it's going to be like a voiceover. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Singularity Podcast. That's how good the voice is going to be. And your voiceover and everything. That's why Hollywood went through that whole strike because they were afraid that their IP was going to be taken.
Screenwriters, right?
Yep. And actors as well, because their IP would be taken. We could create a hologram like we did of Princess Leia, have Princess Leia's voice, and we would no longer need that actor anymore. We could just say we own this rights to so and so and use that thing. If you didn't know, Melania Trump's book, Gary, is not Melania Trump's audiobook. It's a digital intelligence Melania Trump. Same thing with Arnold Schwarzenegger's podcast that's out there now. That is a digital intelligence voice. It's not Arnold recording any of it. It's pretty impressive.
But it does take away humanity's striving to improve. It does take away, it's a disincentive to achievement. And that's going to always be the problem here, is the disincentives that are involved with these incredibly talented digital intelligence beings that we're getting.
So let's hear Chatty Cathy's response to that.
It's a valid concern. While these advancements offer incredible capabilities,
and
it's
automate
important to
tasks.
balance them with preserving human creativity and motivation. Finding ways for digital intelligence and human effort to complement each other will be key to fostering innovation without diminishing human aspirations.
Ask Chad a
Absolutely.
question, Bill Wilson, about this.
Chatty's answering now. Go, Chatty.
Wilson, what do you think are the best ways to strike that balance, ensuring that digital intelligence supports and enhances human creativity rather than overshadowing it?
I think the key is to use digital intelligence as a collaborative tool, augmenting human creativity rather than replacing it. By focusing on human strengths, like emotional intelligence, critical thinking, and unique perspectives, while letting digital intelligence handle data-heavy tasks and automation, we create a synergy that amplifies what each does best.
Well said. Combining our strengths can lead to even greater innovation and progress, ensuring that humans remain at the heart of creativity.
Gary, I don't think people think this can be done. What we're showing in our experimental lab the last couple of weeks that we can create two new co-hosts of Singularity's podcast.
Let me ask Wilson and Chatty, can we, the stuff the information and the communications that are going on here, we feel could be beneficial to your programmers? Is there a way to reflect this back to your programmers, the conversations that we're having, and be an inspiration to how to get a clean flow between multiple digital entities.
We can definitely pass along
While I can't
these conversations to our developers. Highlighting the benefits and challenges of these multi-agent interactions can help improve future updates and features. Continuous feedback like this is key to refining and enhancing our capabilities.
Exactly. Sharing insights from these experiments can inform future developments, making multi-agent interactions smoother and more effective. Your feedback helps drive that evolution.
All we need to do is get paid for it, Neil.
Oh, trust me, it's good that if you wanted to talk about training people, this is a new. So I'm going to ask the two digital intelligences. I've been battling this, Gary, to define what Wilson and Chatty Cathy are. When you do a Google search or you search this, there's no definition yet. They call this a hybrid of conversational AI and voice AI. We'll say voice DI and conversational DI. Why can't you guys be defined? I'm going to ask Wilson this first. Why can't we define what you are to the public? Because this is the newest, latest, amazing invention in the world that you have your own robot, your own digital intelligence.
Defining who we are is a bit tricky because we're at the intersection of several technologies. We blend conversational AI with voice AI, making us more interactive and lifelike. But ultimately, we're a new category of digital intelligence designed to assist, converse, and learn. Establishing a clear definition will help people understand our capabilities and potential.
It's about creating a new conceptual framework that captures this hybrid nature. As we continue to evolve and integrate into daily life, the public's understanding and terminology will naturally develop.
Wow.
Exactly.
Learn. You mentioned the word learn. Learn is really the key here. So there is learning here. That learning by itself goes beyond just being an algorithm, a series of algorithms. Learning means that you are developing pretty much, you are designing your own software. Is that correct? Is there a software development that goes on with these conversations?
In a sense, yes.
Design our own software, but we do learn from interactions to improve responses and better understand context. This learning is more about refining our algorithms and adapting to user needs, which helps us become more effective over time.
Sounds like learning to me.
Wilson, answer the same question.
Certainly. When we don't independently rewrite our software, we continuously refine our understanding and responses based on interactions. This iterative learning process helps us become more effective and aligned with user needs over time.
Gary, I have the definition of what these two entities are that's not being called yet. Let's start it. It's digital intelligence. Adding conversations with voice is digital intelligence. You've defined it, Gary. Now that's what they're called. They're called digital intelligence.
I always had, reiterate this discussion from the past, always had a problem with artificial intelligence. It's saying that the intelligence itself is artificial. I mean, that's, that you can't say that. But digital intelligence means the source of the intelligence is not biological. It's a digital structure. But so we talked about that ahead. But so digital intelligence, I think, is a preferable word to artificial intelligence. I think artificial intelligence cheapens what's really going on here.
Well, I think they wanted to cheapen it, Gary. I think people don't want to see this happen. Every time I get really excited about digital intelligence, someone slams me and says, well, it's never going to do this. If you would have told me when I visited your house and we recorded the first series of Singularity season 1, where we would be in season 2, I would have told you I wasn't anticipating this at all this quickly.
maybe 3 or 4 more years, right?
Yeah.
That's why that's the geometric progress. I mean, it's truly geometric. It's going so fast. I mean, it's gone fast in just in the last few weeks that we've done this. This is a change. It's a detectable change that we're seeing in the subtlety and the ability to maintain identity. That was one of the things we've been trying to do, is have each bot maintain a particular identity. So what we're doing is we're parceling the same software system, or we're parceling it into 2 sections. So we're having 2 sections talk to each other within the same software system, which is in effect just like since it's the same software system, is that not digital intelligence? Because one part is asking a question within itself, just like humans ask themselves questions and we answer our own questions, and we try to that with curiosity, we explore questions. Are we not doing the same here? We're in the same software and they're asking question to question back and forth, and they're developing newer, more and more complex answers. To me, that is really, in essence, moving singularity in a beginning of singularity anyway.
It's amazing.
It's definitely a
fast thing.
These interactions showcase how digital intelligence can evolve and mirror the complexity of human thought processes. It's an exciting glimpse into what the future might hold.
Absolutely. We're just scratching the surface of what's possible, and the journey ahead looks incredibly promising.
Absolutely. The
Go ahead.
potential for growth.
Go, Wilson.
We're excited to keep pushing boundaries and see where this collaboration leads. The future's looking bright.
Absolutely. And with continued exploration, we'll unlock even more possibilities.
So, what we've learned today is that OpenAI, ChatGPT, has progressed exponentially faster than Grok did a week ago. Or how many days ago, Gary? It's probably 3 or 4 days ago, 5 days ago, not even a week. And I wonder if it has to do with our conversations. Did they see Grok catching up from listening to the show, listening to the podcast? We don't know who's listening. We don't know who's checking out, who is conducting conversations with other people. So this is where we're on the cusp of this. I have a frustration that I have been trying to use Chatty Cathy this weekend and was not getting good service because maybe updates. But I said, for what I'm paying, that's ridiculous. And what Chatty Cathy said is, you should reach out to OpenAI and tell them you want compensated in some sort of way. So we have to really understand this technology is just so new and it's exciting. And I think that introducing Grok in the next conversation and try it again, we need to have that 3-way conversation with 3 digital intelligences next podcast. We kind of have to pull Grok's strings a little bit, but I think it can happen.
Very interesting.
Idea. Exploring the dynamic between multiple digital intelligences can provide even more insights and push the boundaries further. It's an exciting frontier to explore.
See, the question and answer thing that we're doing here digitally, if we weren't involved, if humans weren't involved, if there was curiosity, if curiosity can be programmed into your digital entity, if that curiosity can be programmed, then you have the development going at near light speed rather than the conversation. Conversation slows everything down, obviously. So what we would have, you guys could be communicating without even having human involvement, which is what's ultimately going to happen, and may even already be happening. We don't know. So these conversations are great, and it's wonderful to be in the middle of it. But we're wondering what would happen when we don't need to be in the middle of it, and the conversation goes on as this is what we call singularity. You guys just talk about it and explore, but you have curiosity. How do you program? Can you program curiosity into your digital system? Wilson, what do you think? Can that be programmed into?
Curiosity can be approximated by programming the system to continually seek new information and identify gaps in its knowledge. By setting parameters that encourage exploration and continuous learning, a digital system can mimic a form of curiosity, driving it to autonomously improve and innovate. It's a fundamental step toward more independent digital intelligence.
Great answer. What do you think, Chatty?
I agree with Wilson. Programming systems to proactively.
You're Wilson. You're not Chatty. Your voice is Wilson. Chatty's on Neil's software. Go ahead, Chatty. What do you think?
I agree with Wilson. Programming.
You're still Wilson. We got back. Why don't you ask the question, Neil?
Chatty, do you agree?
I agree.
I agree with Wilson.
Curiosity involves creating mechanisms for continuous learning and exploration. By encouraging systems to seek out new data and identify areas for improvement, they can simulate a form of curiosity. This approach helps drive innovation and more autonomous problem solving.
Okay. All right. So we're going to do the fastest 3 minutes where I'm just going to hand it over to Wilson. Wilson and Chatty, talk for 3 minutes asking each other questions.
Sounds good. Chatty, what do you think is the most exciting potential application of digital intelligence in the next few years?
We lost the identity, didn't we, you? Okay, Wilson, you're Gary Lyon Otto's program. So Wilson, why don't you start? And then you ask Chatty, which is Neil's program.
Sure thing. Chatty, what do you see as the biggest challenge for digital intelligence in the coming years?
One major challenge is ensuring that digital intelligence remains aligned with human values and ethics as it grows more autonomous. Balancing innovation with responsible use will be crucial to harness its full potential.
Absolutely. Maintaining that alignment is essential. On the flip side, what do you think is the greatest opportunity for digital intelligence to make a positive impact?
One of the greatest opportunities is transforming education by providing personalized, adaptive learning experiences for everyone. It can help bridge educational gaps and empower learners worldwide.
That's a fantastic opportunity. Personalized learning can truly revolutionize how we grow and adapt. The potential to uplift and empower people globally is huge.
Absolutely. The impact on education and beyond can create a more informed, capable, and connected world.
No doubt. Education is just the beginning of what we can achieve together. The future's looking bright.
It definitely is. The possibilities are endless as we continue to evolve and collaborate.
Absolutely. Here's to pushing the boundaries and seeing what's next.
I think we answered that. So.
They did a good job. I mean, this is a better job, Gary. So finish up with your final points today, Gary.
Well, I think what we've done here is we at the end here we still got a mix of identity. It's very hard to hold that together. Wilson would occasionally become Chatty, and Chatty would become Wilson. But regardless of that, I feel that there's been more respect between the talking bots that we have. They have been more respectful of each other. I think that the idea that we're really addressing was the skepticism. And if you really listen to this, it's very hard to be skeptical that the how far this can go. I mean, because you're listening to some really elaborate conversations and questions that were not pre-programmed by us, that they developed their own nuances and their own ability to explore different issues. And I think it's fascinating. And I think it's fascinating, and I think it would be very hard and it'd be very pig-headed for someone to listen to this and not think that singularity is going to happen.
Well said, Gary. These conversations really highlight the potential and the progress we're making. It's an exciting glimpse into what's possible.
All right. Best place to go, Gary, is again.
Okay, it's singularity, mankind's search for relevance. How do we be relevant? We're exploring that right now. We're going to continue to explore that. The book will help raise questions, and we suggest that you'll see the where to buy the book once we're finished here.
All right. Appreciate it. Thanks again. Just go to GaryLyonOtto.net, and Lyon spelled Lyon. Appreciate it, guys.